Poumirau Riley, right?
Yeah.
Born July 10th. It's going.
This is the story of Marie Louise Sanchot Poumirau Riley, who was born July 10, 1907, in Bedouse, France. Moomie's going to tell us about her family background. You remember? Moomie is what we've always called her. That's Mary Louise Riley. Moomie, tell us who was in your family, who the family members were.
Wasn't very many left. Well, we were a large family at the time, but they all moved away to the city, most of them. Also, some of them died young. So like that.
You were the last child.
Yeah.
You were the last one.
Who was the oldest?
I think it was Grace.
Grace, and then who?
Huh.
Martha?
So many in between. I didn't even know the names.
There was Jean, Martha, Josephine, Joseph, John Baptiste, you, and who else?
Oh, I remember my mother mentioning one that died when he was 10, and his name was Pierre. That's all I know about him or the others. They all died, most of them died, and after birth, either that or infants. Because I don't remember having anybody to play. There's nobody left. The boys would come home. Now, my brother Joseph was in the service already. And Jean-Baptiste, he soon went to the service also. So I don't know too much about them. But Jean-Baptiste was still around because he used to get me in trouble.
John Baptiste was older, closest to you. Was he younger than Joseph?
Yeah.
He was the closest one to you in age.
Yeah. He's the one that would ice me up on the walls to go pick the apples or forgot if it was apples or cherries. Got me in trouble.
Yeah. Tell us about how your mother and father met and how she came to be in Bedouse. How did that come about?
I don't know too much about that because we didn't talk about it. They had come from my mother, who was born and raised in Bordeaux, southeast France. And they had gone home just for vacation, I guess.
Well, who was from Bedouse? When you say they had gone home, was it her mother?
Grandmother.
Oh, the grandmother was born in Bedouse.
Yeah.
Oh, so they had gone home.
She had gone to Bordeaux, which that was the thing to do at the time. Went to Bordeaux to work, I guess. So when she was ready to go on this vacation, she took her along. And Sanchot was available, so was the daughter. I guess that's how they met.
Who met? Who met who on that?
Oh, who knows?
Her father and mother.
Oh, that's
So
our mother.
maybe the grandmother already knew the Sanchot family?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she was acquainted with him or knew him some way.
Oh, sure. Everybody knew them. It's not.
Oh, I see. So he grew up, your father grew up in Bedouse. Was he a native of Bedouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother, yeah.
Oh, he was born there. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So
What
my
was your father's
grandfather-
name?
Antoine.
Your father's name was Antoine Sanchot.
Anthony.
And what was your mother's name?
Mine, Marie.
Marie? And her last name?
Ducasse.
She was a Ducasse.
Yeah, she was a Ducasse.
Mhm.
I almost forgot.
So that's your background. Your mother was born in
Yeah,
Bordeaux, and your father was born in Bedouse.
right.
And what did his family do? What kind of,
I don't know. They all had a trade of some kind. Probably part
Oh, it sounds classic to me.
farmer. I don't know. They all have lots of
Like loyalty or
ground
something.
here and there.
Casa. So,
Sounds that way to me too.
yeah.
She was very proud of her name.
Mhm. Was the grandfather, did he own a lot of property?
Yeah, you would say he was more like a traveling farmer.
A traveling farmer. Oh. What does that mean? How would you be a traveling farmer?
Well, you take jobs along, you go make a living.
in other words, he worked as a hired hand.
No.
No?
He had a huge idea. Now tell him what he did.
Oh, that's nasty.
It is not nasty. It's
No.
agriculture, Moomie. Tell it.
Yeah, a farmer would hear this too. Really, that.
Okay. What was this idea your grandfather had that was kind of innovative?
Well, he would mention he had to contact these farmers in order to make dates. That's how he came to I don't know. Lost out somewhere.
You said he had a flock of sheep,
Yeah, he always had sheep.
and he would take them to a farm.
Okay, and then he kept, when he was not traveling with the sheep, kept in the mountains, so in the hills, because that's where this house was. They call him, well, there at the time, they call him Grange.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the Grange comes
Oh,
from.
yeah.
And he would make contacts with the farmers he wanted to go. And they made dates to bring the sheep and that. That's his way of selling the fertilizer. They weren't that yet.
Yeah.
It's a novel idea.
Yeah.
Very clever.
They would, it wasn't so dumb.
It was darn smart. He made a fortune doing that.
Yeah, he did fine.
Uh-huh.
Financially, he did.
That was the grandfather.
Yeah, he was pretty smart, I guess. So they tell me.
You never met him?
No, he died before.
Oh, you never got to go with him or anything like that?
No, I did with my father.
He was highly
He
respected.
took me up to the garage of the.
Oh.
They had two of them, and showed me what used to be Grandpa's when they're several times. Anyway, that his idea was they kept the sheep in the same place to be closed in, fenced in, and because they're always eating sheep, never said. So they'd be browsing on the grass that was there, and they kept them there a few days, I don't know exactly, a few days in that square, and then when the time was ready, they moved them to another one,
Oh.
right next to it.
So little by little, they covered a large area
Yeah,
of land, and it was all fertilized.
for a year.
For a whole year, he stayed there with the flock.
No, they didn't only fertilize them once a year in those places. So
Probably just before planting, so
they have to be
Yeah.
pretty careful they don't burn the
Yeah,
ground.
he'd move on to the next farm then.
Yeah, and then when his contract was done, he went someplace else. And most of the summertime, that's what he was doing, traveling.
Did your brother have any brothers or sisters? I mean, your father. Did he have
Yeah,
brother?
he had one sister. Then they were Bedouse also. Her husband was, what did you call it, Rita? Can't remember the word.
Did he do it?
Work with stone.
Oh, he was a stonemason.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Stonemason.
was your uncle. Would have been your uncle.
yeah, it was her husband.
He was a stonemason.
Yeah. And also, they never had any boys, but they had quite a few girls. So Batista was sent there to learn. But over there, they only took the young. So he was pretty young when they took all of the youngcomers. So he could teach mason.
Oh, so John Baptiste learned how to be a mason.
Yeah. But Jean-Baptiste liked the open spaces better.
He liked the mountains. He
liked
might
to
have
be
known the
free.
grandfather. He might have known the grandfather then.
Baptiste?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he ever go up to the Grange with the grandfather?
I don't know.
Or Joseph?
I don't know.
What happened to the Grange and the house that the grandfather
Well,
lived
they
in?
were sold. Well, it's hard to explain because that is considered, you go there, you got animals, you put it there for the night. Also, it's living if you want to live in. But mostly, then they walk down to the town and live there.
Oh, I see.
They don't
It's not
live.
a residence. It's not a
They
formal
don't
residence.
live in places to work.
It's like the shepherd's
Yeah,
house that's up in the mountains, and it's only a temporary housing
it is.
while they're moving herds around.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the idea of the round. Okay, what else?
Did you tell about your father and the property?
And
Yeah, it was
so,
two
so
of
your
those.
father was what was his profession?
Hmm?
What was your father's profession?
He was making shoemaker.
Was he a shoemaker already when he met your mother?
That I don't know.
Did he have a business already?
Oh, I mentioned it.
Oh.
Yeah, he'd go up in the hills and pick up that certain wood. He was very fussy about what kind of wood. Because he used it for the soles of the shoe.
The shoes
That's
were,
what they call sabot.
a sabot is a wooden soled shoe.
Yeah, with leather on top.
Oh. And everybody wore them?
Yeah, no, especially in wintertime. Also, when it rained hard. Summertime, they had this and
Oh, sandals.
yeah.
So your father made the shoes for everyone in the
In
Bedouse?
town, yeah.
And he was the
By
only
the
one?
way,
Did he make sandals too?
They had to be by order because when this is my remember of hey, may not be totally correct because I can't remember far back. As far back as that goes.
That's pretty interesting that he went up in the mountains and chose a particular kind of wood. And he
Yes.
cut the trees and everything and cut the
Mhm.
wood and
yeah, and he had
shaped it.
to bring it home. And oh, he was fussy about that. He spent hours working, planing. It had to be smooth as silk.
And his shop was in the basement of the downstairs of your
Right
house.
in the front, yeah. Before you went up the stairs, see, the living quarters were upstairs. And so that's where the shop was, right in front as you come in. So they had double doors. He opened up the double doors, and anyone could go in and look. It's the same as a maker shop out of.
But he never taught the trade to his own sons, huh?
Batista was another one. He liked to be free. And he was not interested in staying in Bedouse to do any kind of trade. That was not him. He was never home.
Where would he go? Where'd he
Where did he go? Nosing around the mountains.
Probably looking for John Batiste, who was up there nosing around.
That was Jean-Baptiste I'm talking.
What didn't Joseph learn how to make shoes?
Oh, Joseph was a serious one.
What was his trade? What did Joseph
He
learn?
was going to learn masonry, like Jago.
Uh-huh.
He did learn some, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, then you got to go 2 years, 4 years, something like that.
As an apprentice.
Oh, yeah. In the meantime, he did start it with him. In the meantime, the servers caught up with him.
Yeah, you got to be that age. What age is that?
17, you gotta be enlisted and working in the army.
So Joseph went into the army?
Yeah. And I remember the day when he left. They had a big ceremony across the where the bureaus. that has never changed yet.
Was a war on at the time?
No, but it was imminent. This was the first World War.
Uh-huh. So anybody that went into the military, even before the war, they had kind of a town celebration, was it? Or just a family celebration?
Oh, a town. Everybody went around there with a drum master.
And they had a parade?
River Street.
That's cute.
And all the kids.
Oh, and boy, that was your brother, so you got to be out there in front of all the kids saying, my brother. Going in the army.
Yeah.
So you were pretty small when he went into the army?
Oh, yeah. That's the only thing I remember. One thing I remember about is when he got sick. I remember that we had sort of like a dinner or something. Then he went to see, well, the rest of the cousins. And of course you were a big shot if you were already serving. So he went to see cousins I didn't even know I had. Living in some town. Anyway, I remember that. And then he went back. That was just one lead. He came to. And that's when he got sick.
And he went back in the service.
He went back to join up. He was stationed in Arabia. Algiers, his depot was. And he got sick. He got what I think was a tropical fever. It started that way.
Malaria?
But it ended up with malaria. And I guess when the boys get too sick, they don't want to take any more medical thing from the government, send them home. So he came home, and the next thing I remember about him was this. He had a huge bedroom, and if it was more than 2 people, there'd be divided that. So he was in one bed, one in that corner, and I was over here. That poor thing, one minute he'd be shivering, just like shaking the bed. The next 5 minutes, he was sweating, everything was wet. Yeah, that's terrible.
Malaria. It is.
Well, that's what the Army did. Instead of taking care of him and getting him well,
So-
they sent him home.
Yeah.
For the family to bring him back to health. Yeah,
So anyway,
probably typical at the time.
yeah, he had to go back. The doctor in town there didn't know nothing about malaria, I guess. So this is going to be funny to you girls when you think about it. Somebody helped my mother out and called the Army or whoever they had to call to get anybody. The next hospital was poor. So they got somebody in the house anyway. Here comes this ambulance.
Oh, in Bedouse.
You know, nobody's ever seen an ambulance.
I guess not.
I remember watching the little guy and then going up the stairs. Because the living quarters were all upstairs.
And they were coming after your brother, Joseph?
Yeah.
And where were they going to take him?
Well, they put him down there. They had gurneys. Even at that time, they had gurneys.
Yeah. They were going to take him on a gurney to the ambulance, but where was the ambulance going?
Waiting to pull to the hospital.
Oh, they were going to take him to an army hospital?
Yeah. The next thing was the hospital in Pole. And that's what they did. I was real close to him, you know, I liked it. But this little guy had brown eyes. Looking at me, I guess they were hoping that I'd stay out of that. Followed him upstairs, and he was mad. His brown eye was just shining on.
Yeah, he was probably feverish and everything else.
Yeah. I'm talking about the Vietnamese. They made them ambulance drivers. The Vietnamese.
Oh, really?
You know, France had.
Yeah, it was
Indochina.
It was French Indochina.
Yeah.
So the ambulance drivers were Vietnamese.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the first ones you ever saw.
Right. That was the nigger boy.
Did you see those toddlers going up the stairs?
I was pretty.
I can't read it as I'm down. Where's Scott?
Yeah.
We were talking about John Baptiste and when he had malaria and how sick he was.
It's Joseph.
I'm sorry, Joseph. Yeah, it was Joseph. Okay. And the ambulance drivers came and got him, and then what happened? They took him
to Bo, where the army hospital, military hospital. So they had to take him there, and it was about 40 miles, would you say? 40 miles to Bo. You figure that for. So here comes the ambulance, and of course the bedrooms were upstairs, and they had to take the gurney to the bedrooms to get him. And of course me, I was right in the middle of everything. I remember those brown eyes looking down at me and telling me. But see, they taught in France. But I didn't understand their teaching, so I was lost anyway.
We want to do a little backtracking and talk about your mother and what had happened to your mother.
Well, she went blind through an accident. I don't know whether I should tell them, because those people are still living.
Tell it. No. Explain that. That's all right.
Anyway, it's a long story, but you can explain why she was there
Sure.
at that time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My mother was a seamstress, and she would take, everybody did that, had regular days to come and sew to the house. Not our house, the people that needed the work. The seamstress went there, and then whatever had to be done, a new shirt or new... they didn't buy ready-made stuff at that time. So my mother was the best seamstress they had, I guess. So this was the day that was allowed for her to go to this house. Besides, there were friends anyway. And when she got there, something hit her in the head. And nobody knew that this boy had lost his mind. And he didn't recognize her when she got, because those houses were built out of stone, everything was stone, and the pavement was stone. So when she fell, he knocked her down. When she fell on these this pavement that was stones. So she didn't say anything, I guess. She didn't want to say anything because they were friends. And so she went home anyway. And I guess I must have found her.
So you were with her?
Not when it happened.
Oh.
But probably after she started to come walk, in this street. So anyway, but she never told anybody what happened.
Did she gradually, what was the result of that fall? What happened?
Well, her eyesight, at that time she had a lot of customers. Her weakness fell up. And when she go to this, her time to go to Mrs. Nuke, she noticed that her eyes would turn red, bloodshot.
Yeah.
And she didn't just, all right, it'll go away. But it didn't go away. So she got after her and insisted she go see a doctor. And of course they sent her to all around because that was the closest doctor for the eyes.
Uh-huh.
And she came out of there and said,
Did you go with her?
yeah, I went over.
That's your first big trip, wasn't it? Out of Bedouse?
I don't know. No, we used to go back and forth in the train.
Oh.
Trains were cheap then.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think it was the first time. But I did go with her on the train. And they decided that it was more than just a headache or that she needed an operation. We were going to operate and of course I had to go.
You went to the, did she have the operation in early room?
Yeah,
She did have it.
yeah.
And then she came back home?
Yeah.
Did it make a difference? Did the operation help in any
No,
way?
it was total.
She was blind from that point then?
Yes. She came home. When she left home to go and have this thing done, she had some little bit of vision. It was smoky like.
Mm-hmm.
But she did have some. But when she came back, it was total darkness.
Do you remember how old you were?
No idea.
5 years old, maybe?
Maybe. It could have been over 5.
Mm-hmm. That must have been quite a shock to everybody.
Yeah. So,
She lost her customers, naturally. She couldn't sew anymore.
she could see. So, find other people to sew. It wasn't really just like a plumber experience. But a regular thing, kind of seamstress kind of.
Yeah, everybody had one.
Yeah.
So, after she came back from Ulra, who helped her take care of her house and take care of you because you were so small? And did she have
Yeah.
any help?
I don't know about the house. I don't remember that part. Having somebody else in the house. But from that point on, I think the nuns took care of her anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because I went there with her to the nuns, and she came right in with her. See, they used the nuns for like these halfway hotels, more hospitals. What do you call that? I'm talking about the habits now. Is that what you call it? Habits? Dress?
Yeah, their uniform like?
Yeah. Okay. This was black. Yeah, like an apron.
Okay. Yeah, you were.
I've never been able since I've been here because they don't have this in. It was black, blue, and white, of course. Her skirt, little apron, and was this thing that went around like this. And I used to
Like a scarf or kerchief.
go up the stairs, sneak there, and look at those things when they went in. And there was this little, like a cup.
To hold her hair back.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then just around the father, you couldn't see their ears.
Uh-huh. That's the way I remember the
Saint
sisters.
Mary's, I think.
Order of St. Mary?
Yeah, I think so.
Uh-huh.
I'd have to see the picture to
Uh-huh.
recognize it. But when I went back, there was no more nuns. So I couldn't recognize anything.
So the nuns lived in the castle in Bedouse, and that's where you took your mother.
Yeah.
And she stayed with them for a while, or did?
Yes, she did. I don't know how long. I couldn't say.
Uh-huh. While she recuperated?
Yeah. And some little Vietnamese brought her down back to Bedouse. Nobody had ever seen that.
Who take care of you?
Oh, I wasn't important. I was just a grandfather.
Nobody took care of you, huh? You took care of
I
yourself?
was safe enough blinking. Nothing ever happened in that town.
So you went back on a regular basis? Well, the castle was right there in Bedouse, so you went every day with her?
Yeah.
And what would they do when you went there every day? What would they do?
Well, I brought her there, and then they took over just hired nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Took care of her. She was ready to go. I was waiting for her, so we went home. And of course, during that time, I guess, there was no thought of going to school, no room for that. Imagine, I got to thinking about it so many times. What happened to the school, it was right across there.
Yeah. The nuns ran the school, didn't they?
Oh, they had part of the school, but they had public school across the street.
Oh, uh-huh.
They're like public school.
Did the nuns also retrain your mother
Oh, yes.
how to take care of herself?
Yes. Boy, they did a marvelous job.
Did they come to her house too to show her how
After, yeah.
to show her how to cook?
Just like social, like these guys do. Yeah.
What else did they teach your mother how to do?
They got her back on track, like she was a dressmaker already.
Mm-hmm.
And she used to do some knitting. You've seen some of the lace.
Uh-huh.
And she made lace. And let's see, socks. She knitted all the socks for the man of the house. She knitted my socks, stockings for the winter, long stockings.
Hmm.
And she was really busy all the time. And it's a wonder she didn't really set herself afire sometimes.
Well, she was well trained.
Yeah, she knew how many minutes, how many steps to wait
Yeah.
before she went on. And going up and down those stairs.
Mm-hmm. Well, blind people are very, very competent. They have other skills that they develop. So
Boy,
they
she
obviously,
sure did.
they trained her well in how to work within her own house
Yeah,
and to do the things that she.
sure. She made the bags.
Mm-hmm.
She did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And she peeled the potatoes. You could still see her just
Do it by touch and feel.
feel.
Yeah. How much sewing was she able to do? Did she sew your clothes?
She couldn't use the machine.
Yeah.
So Josephine is the one that inherited that.
Josephine, your sister?
Yeah.
She made
She
your clothes?
lived in another town close by.
Uh-huh.
But she was married and had 2 boys. So she could go home and take care of them. But my father wasn't any good at anything.
He didn't help much, huh?
No, because a man is not trained to do these things.
Yeah.
Not in their place. Too much of it. All they can do is drink.
So you spent a lot of time with your mother then?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at the nuns because she had It was like a hospital.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she had a room there?
Similar is a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Small cots and all that. So I would go home at night. My father was pretty good. He was a loving father.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that. He was not ambitious.
Did he spend much time with you? Talking to you?
Yeah, we were buddies.
Oh, he tell you stories?
Yep. I couldn't repeat the stories because I can't remember that back.
Yeah.
No.
Did he live in the mountains with them?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And they get cold like it does. Get snippy,
Uh-huh.
And I put my
Okay, today is September the 10th, and this is Chloe. And we left off talking about your father and how you used to go on long walks together. And I think the last thing you were saying is you had your hand in his pockets because the weather was so cold.
Yeah.
Are there any other things that you remember about him?
Well, we had gone through his usual track to the mountains and pick the wood, I guess. Was that? I can't remember. I couldn't compare what they call it in English.
Pick the wood for the shoes?
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Oh, you went with him for that.
well, that one time.
Hmm.
But he'd carry me. Sometimes I get too tired. He would carry me across his shoulder.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I like that. It's paying attention.
Uh-huh. What's attention?
Nobody else was there to pay attention to me. So that's all I remember about that. I don't know how old. I couldn't have been over 10. I don't think so.
So one of the favorite things you liked doing was going with your dad up in the hills. What were some of the other things you liked to do? You're about 10.
Well, now I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the age.
That's okay. You were approximately,
Nobody told me how old I was or what paid me attention to time or years.
Yeah, kids
Just
don't.
a kid
Right.
around there. So.
You like to pick flowers?
Oh, yes.
Where'd you go to pick the flowers? Do you have any special place?
Wild flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of flowers growing wild around there. And I got the idea, this must have been in the spring, I picked bouquets of violets and take them to town. And the first time it worked like magic.
What'd you do?
I tried to sell them.
Uh-huh.
But
Did you?
I didn't ask for money. I was pretty smart. I just offered to the ladies. And of course, I would go to the richest lady in town.
Uh-huh. What would she give you?
she gave me some money, and she was so pleased.
Oh.
But the second time, I didn't get no money.
You worked the first time, and that was it.
That was it. And then I went again, and I left them there. They were pretty smart, those ladies.
So picking flowers is one of the things you like to do. What else?
Oh, I knew all the flowers. The best place to go in. Violets and columbines. And I go to the outskirts. I mean, I want different varieties. Daisies. They're beautiful.
Yeah, because the elevation is high there. So
Yeah.
they're alpine flowers.
See? Yeah. And that's where the columbines were very nice and big.
What did you do with these flowers other than try to sell them to the rich ladies?
Well, at first I was glad they gave me some money, and I kept coming back with it. Kids never can take one success.
Did you do anything else with the flowers?
No, couldn't get rid of it.
Did you take them home?
Oh yeah, I always went home with them.
Is this when you were supposed to be in school?
Uh-huh.
What do you remember about school? This was the public school, right?
Yeah.
It was across from the nuns' castle. What do you remember about school? Favorite classes? Your favorite subjects?
Yeah, because I was a bass ant. And I failed in a arithmetic every time. So I didn't show up that day.
Well, you skipped the days when they were going to have bath?
Yeah.
Oh, you knew when it was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
You knew the math days. What was your favorite subject?
Geography.
You liked geography.
Yeah. I was ahead of the whole group, and it was kind of
And history? You liked history.
history. History and geography.
So on the days they had something that, on the days when they had something you didn't like, you just never bothered going to school. Is
That's
that what-
right. I'm not going.
Did you take your little friends with you when you went out and picked flowers, or is
No. They would be there.
they would be
busy at
good little
school.
students and in school? So you did all this stuff by yourself when you were running around.
And you want to go find?
So besides going to school, and I know you took your mother to see the nuns. When did you start getting some benefit from going there? In other words, when did you start learning something from the nuns?
Oh.
They taught her how to sew. When did
I had to sit in there, and they had a regular group of girls that went in there to sew and do stitching, different things. And then I have to stay there longer, like for the others. I had to stay there. But when I was by myself, I was smaller. But I still remember.
So how long did you do that? How long did you go there to learn all these different things about sewing? Years?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years maybe.
So that would bring you up around 13?
Yeah, around 12 to 13, yeah. I'm sure I was still going there at that time.
Was your father still living?
He died when I was about 13.
Oh, what happened to him?
died. I
At
think.
home?
Yeah. He sure suffered a lot.
Had he been sick a long time?
Yeah. And I remember I had to take my mother to the doctor to
Okay, so you took your mother to the nuns, and the
The doctor.
nuns,
The doctor.
the doctor? Okay, the doctor gave her instructions on how to take care of your dad through his
That's
illness. He subsequently died, and you think it was some kind of prostrate
Infection.
infection.
I'm sure it was.
Okay.
But I didn't know how the word prostate.
Okay, so
But yeah, it's a long story.
so you were about 13 then,
Yeah, around that.
and
Maybe 12.
where were your brothers?
Oh,
Yeah, where was John Baptiste
I
and
don't know.
Joseph
Joseph
doing this?
was brother and still.
He was in Algiers?
Yeah, he was 2 years and
He was in the Zouave unit, wasn't he?
yeah.
Kind of an elite.
Green berets.
Yeah, the Green Beret of the French Army.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I remember seeing a picture of him
Uh-huh.
in that uniform.
Yeah.
So they weren't even there. Okay.
No, they weren't there.
So after he died, you just stayed on? You and your mother?
Yeah.
You're about 13?
I can't remember what happened after that.
Well, were they thinking about expanding your education?
No. If you know how to, at that time, you know how to read and write and count, that's enough.
Uh-huh. And you had,
First place, the government, the public school only goes to 13 years old. After that, you have to pay. If you want higher than that, there's a lot of schools.
so that's all you got, on a relatively free basis then. After
Yeah.
that, it was private education.
Yeah.
Okay, so your formal education was over with.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it.
No, well, that was very common for the times. There's lots of
Didn't
people.
want, well, that's the government included.
Uh-huh.
That was the way it was.
Yeah, that was a fact of life in lots of parts of the world, including the United States. Not unusual. So do you remember anything about you're 13 years old, you're kind of getting into your teenage years. Did you start going to dances or?
Dances.
I think that's no.
What did you do for, what did,
do no dances.
what did young people do? Bedouse then.
Well, I don't know, really. They had the Sunday dances there, but I didn't go.
Did you go,
Oh, that's when I got
That's right.
you got what?
the beaten Joseph.
You got a beating?
Yeah, took my pants off and
Gave it
What?
to her.
What did you do?
I stayed overnight, not overnight. It was too late, The dance was then and now, but Marie Louise still like that music, so
You said you never went to dances, but this was...
I didn't go. This is a public dance. This is just a public dance. Everybody goes if they want to.
Well, that's going to a
Stay.
dance. Yeah.
Stay as long as they want to, and they
Oh.
follow.
Uh-huh.
That's,
I think what she means is she didn't dance, she just watched.
no, you just watch.
Going to a dance means you go there, doesn't mean you
Yeah,
have
you
to
got an
dance.
invitation. Usually you go to a dance.
Oh.
She was not invited, she just stood to watch.
Where'd they have it? In the square?
Yeah, in the plaza.
Uh-huh.
That's my first big dance. She'll pay for it.
So you didn't get home on time and you got it from your big brother.
Uh-huh. He's waiting for me at the foot of the stairs, head of the stairs.
He was home on leave or something?
No, I think by that time he was home and working somewhere around Houston. And
He was the one that was trained in, as a stone cutter, masonry.
yeah, carpentry. And,
He learned carpentry somewhere
Yeah.
along the line.
yeah, he was very good, and of course, very strenuous.
He made furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he learn carpentry work? Because he had been trained as to work with stone. Where did he learn the
Yeah.
carpentry work?
But he probably learned that too. I don't know.
You don't know where he learned it.
No.
What did he do in the army? What
I
was his position? Would you know?
have no idea.
He never got any special training or special skills from the army?
No, I don't think so.
Who in the heck were they fighting anyway?
They were fighting, but at that time, there was more of a price.
They were there to guard the French interests in Algiers, huh?
Yeah.
He was attached to some fort. Didn't you say he made raids with the people in his company?
Yeah, they probably did.
On the Arab tribes?
What the... I just keep doing. I think that I get an idea what was
I
coming
vaguely
in.
remember something about it, but that's okay. You don't remember it. We'll just go on. Okay, so you're about 13, and your father had already died. Your brothers are in the area. Are they married yet?
No.
Joseph's not married?
Joseph got married first,
Hmm.
and he got married in Paul, because I was at the wedding.
Oh, that was a big affair.
Oh, yeah.
And he married a local girl?
Yeah.
Somebody from Bedouse?
Somebody from Paul. At that time, he was working, I think he learned to work somewhere in Paul.
Uh-huh.
And,
You went with your mother?
no, I don't think she was there.
She didn't go to her son's wedding?
I don't think so.
But you went,
Yeah, I don't remember why.
or how they came about.
No, I don't know.
And Jean-Baptiste?
Yeah, John Baptiste was there. And I don't remember who else was there.
But anyway, it was a wedding.
Yeah.
And did he have family eventually?
Yeah.
Joseph, how many kids did he have?
You remember those two girls? Yeah. Was it over Lisa's house?
He had two girls. Joseph had two girls.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. He had a son, didn't he?
Yeah.
He has a son.
Jano.
Jano.
Yeah.
Okay. And did John Baptiste get married about that time or later?
I wasn't there. I was already gone by the time John Baptiste got married.
So you're about 13 or somewhere in there, a little bit older?
14.
14?
I don't know.
When
Yeah.
Joseph got married? Okay, and when did you first see Grace? Your sister Grace, when she had... Because when you were growing up, Grace wasn't there.
No. Oh,
She was in America.
right.
When's the first time you saw her?
She came home on a trip.
Do you remember when?
Couldn't remember the date. She came, all I knew, she came on a big ship.
She came on a big ship and came to Bedouse.
They didn't come to Bedouse.
Yeah.
Well, I know that. I mean, after she got off the ship,
Yeah.
she went to Bedouse on the train, obviously.
As I remember, she had a big trunk. Oh, at that time, if you were somebody, you had a big trunk.
With lots of clothes.
Yeah.
This was the first time you met her?
Yeah. And there's another sister that came from, she is living in Louise, I think.
Another sister?
Yeah, but I can't remember her name.
That was with Grace? The first time you saw her?
No, she wasn't together. This other sister, she had been, that was during the war, was the last of the second. The first World War?
Yeah, that would have been 1918.
1917. Yeah. And she brought the boys with her. I remember thinking it was so funny. They couldn't speak French. And of course, all they knew was American.
So you couldn't talk to him, huh?
No, couldn't even play with them.
Oh, that's too bad. These were your cousins.
Yeah, but they were, anyway, that's when the first time I saw this movie with the two boys. And then later come Grace. Again, by that time, it was old.
Yeah, how old were you?
14, 15.
Probably 15.
You saw Grace when you were about 15 years old?
Yeah.
Were you were in Bedouse, did you have any customers at that time as a seamstress? Did you?
No, I was, it's not that easy. You
How do you set up a business when you're a seamstress?
Recommendation.
Oh, uh-huh.
And of course, I could have done all right if I'd have stayed there. And so, what do you call that? But
Making friends. Yeah, you didn't make friends with the people who could become your customers. Was there already a dressmaker who was established at Bedouse by this time?
Seems to me like there was another young woman. She's supposed to have been a cousin, but she never talked to me.
Anyway,
It's
she was
not clear enough
she was a seamstress.
to, yeah.
Okay. So when Aunt Grace came to your house there to see you and your mom, did she stay there with you?
Yeah, she stayed there, but she didn't stay there very long.
Oh, okay. Did she talk about America?
Oh, yeah.
What'd she say about it?
Well, streets were paved with coal,
Of course.
that sort of thing, you know.
America was a place where everybody got rich.
What do you want to stay here? I remember that.
You remember her saying that? Why do you want to? Did she ask you that directly?
Why do you want to stay here? Never get anywhere, sis. I never got anywhere anyway.
What did your mother think and say when she talked like that?
Naturally, she didn't like it
Mm-hmm.
because it was the last one in there. Joseph was already married,
Yeah.
but just got married.
And John Baptiste was running around.
Running around with this girl. But he married her, but she died. But, you know,
Oh,
so it didn't
he
happen.
wasn't home much. It was mostly you and your mother.
Yeah. What else?
How? You
That's
know, I'm
about
curious. I'm curious about something. How did you get along if there was no income? What happened to the shoemaking business, and what happened to you guys? How did you live?
I don't know. It never was fun.
Did she have some kind of pension or something, you think?
I don't know.
Did,
It could be that I know one thing. Everybody is sort of related, you know, in those small towns. That man that I talked to later, I thought it was somebody's father, and it was the son.
oh, you're talking about a later trip that you made when you went back to France the first time. You ran into,
Yeah.
you went into the bakery,
No, general store.
the general store, and he happened to be the son
Yeah.
of an owner that you remember from your past.
I remember, but I didn't know they were related.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife, he told me, oh, that's where the cousins come out. You know, somebody comes back from America.
Oh, and then all of a sudden you find you've got all these relatives. Were there other relatives that maybe lived in other cities that maybe sent money or something like that?
Not to our house, no.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, when
I
did,
know we ate at the nun's house
the nuns,
different times.
yeah, they kind of looked after.
Well, sort of
But you had no way of making money yourself there.
oh no, I was not employed. I remember going, working, babysitting,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know where, oh, I know. Yeah, I had a babysitting job,
Oh.
and the butcher was right in the corner of the plaza. And
You took care of the young children, huh?
this is the way, again, that didn't go so good with me. And whatever money I made, my mother got it.
Yeah.
That was the custom.
That was the custom, right. Yeah.
So that lost a lot of young people. They took off.
That's right.
There weren't too many young people left in Bedouse by then.
But now,
The war had come along, and probably a lot of them left with the war to serve in the army. It was 1918.
I do remember when they would come and they would come back just for a week
Uh-huh.
from the war. So this was the first World War.
Yeah.
Boy, it's crazy.
It's a long time back.
Sure.
So when is the first time you really seriously started thinking about going to America? After Grace started talking about it on that visit.
Yeah, after Grace came and made arrangements, I guess.
She was serious.
Yeah,
She was serious about you going there.
I was gonna go to school. First you tell me you had enough school. You can't use it here because, there's no employment
Uh-huh.
in a town like that for past just labor.
Uh-huh.
I wish I had listened to that, but
So Grace thought that by going to America you would get more education, that you would get some kind of training. What do you think she had in mind for you? Is what kind of training was she thinking of?
pretty vague.
It was pretty vague.
Yeah, but she sees his high school girlfriend. Oh, that would be fine. Louise, Who's going to pay for it?
Yeah, that was just it. Who paid for it? Who was going to pay for it? So how did you get your mother to agree to let you go? I'm sure you were all excited about the prospects of going.
Yeah, I was a little. I had reservations too, but I wouldn't go from here, so there's something.
You must have got right.
What were the doubts that you had? Remember?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I've never been any further than Paul.
And Orleron.
All around is next door. But I didn't like that trip, that train trip to Bordeaux.
Wait a minute, let me back up for a minute, because I'm not... How did you get your mother to agree
I don't know.
to let you go? You were very young. As far as I can figure out, you're talking about
I made up my mind, I guess.
1923 and you were 16.
Yeah.
That's when you left. Do you remember anything how she came to agree to let you go? Do you remember anything about that?
No, I remember her crying, and I was wondering why. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Why do you cry for?
Why you let it cry?
You wanted her to be excited because it was going to be a big adventure.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah. Was there anybody else in the family that you talked to? Wasn't there an uncle? Didn't you have an uncle in Paris?
Yeah, but he was against it.
Oh.
But I went in.
How did you come to talk to the uncle in Paris? What?
Well, I guess my mother must have got in touch with.
Was that her brother?
Yeah,
Was her brother.
yeah, that was her brother.
But this is an uncle that you never saw very much throughout your
No.
life, was it? All of a sudden, he's there to help make a big decision.
And I never saw him after either.
That was your one encounter with your uncle. And his thing was to say he didn't think it was a good idea at all.
No.
What did he say about America?
He thought it was a little too wild to send a girl that age by herself. And he was right.
That's right. Yeah, he certainly was right.
You were right.
Yep.
Fun.
We were recapping on the events that led to a decision to go to America. And Grace had been talking to your mother, and you kind of remembered them talking. Do you remember anything else about that conversation?
No. She probably had to convince my mother to let me go. Mentioned that's the way it happened. I know she was crying a lot, and I couldn't see why.
Yeah.
Naturally, I wanted to go.
Did anyone else talk to you about leaving besides the uncle we already mentioned?
No,
Did your mother talk to the nuns about it?
that I don't know. They might have talked in private. I don't know. I don't remember that.
Did the nuns talk to you about leaving? Did they give you any advice?
Oh, sorry. You know, just they don't know nothing themselves. They don't name it like me.
Didn't they think it would be a chance to improve your future?
Yeah, I suppose they presented that way with my mother.
Uh-huh. They thought,
That part, it could have been that way. But
okay.
it didn't turn the circumstances, it weren't there. Right.
So you made the decision to go to America, and Grace bought the ticket for you?
I guess, because I didn't have to buy anything.
You never had any money anyway, right?
No.
So what was the first thing you did? You went to, after you made the decision to go,
I don't know. Unless I must have made, I think I made some clothes.
you made yourself a new dress, huh?
Something. I cannot. It's too dramatic, I guess. Used to.
Once you made the decision to go,
It was traumatic.
it was traumatic, yeah. Yeah, because it meant leaving your mother and your brother who just got married. Okay, so you got the ticket in your hand, and where do you go? Where's the first place that you went to?
That,
So you went to Bedouse.
yeah. I went to Lourdes because it's a thing to do. When you go any place outside of the area there, you go to Lourdes
For blessings.
and, yeah.
What do you do there?
Said some prayers.
Uh-huh.
Trip.
It'll be a successful journey. It's kind of the custom of people to do that whenever they go anywhere, travelers.
Yes, but Lourdes seemed to be a favorite place to go. Yeah.
So you went to Lourdes, and then you went on to, where'd you go from there?
Back to
When did you leave?
I left from Bedouse to Bordeaux. It's getting hazy.
Well, then eventually you go to, is it Paris?
Yeah. I'm supposed to meet my uncle in Paris.
Uh-huh. And what was he going to do?
Well, he was gonna find a place for me to sleep, and he did. He took me across Paris. Got me going in my direction. Yes.
When was the first time you went to Paris then?
Yeah. And give me a lot of don't do this and that.
Basic instructions.
Basic survival instructions.
Yeah.
And so you left the next day?
I don't know.
Where do you get the ship? What city did you depart from?
Paris.
The ship.
We go to Paris. And by the way, that ship was named the Paris. The Paris. I don't know. We go.
I thought it was the Ile-de-France.
That could be too. Maybe that was raised to the France. Thing was her. Anyway, it was one of those big.
Where did you catch the liner? Where did it depart from? Which harbor? Is it in Le Havre or?
It's in the harbor.
Okay, and Le Havre is where? In northern France? Okay. And so the ship sails from Le Havre and
Le Havre, yeah.
is the port.
A lot of them big ships.
Uh-huh. And tell us about your voyage. Do you remember anything about it?
Voyage?
What voyage? The big one.
Well, the big one, yeah.
Crossing the big one.
You remember anything of your trip?
Oh, I was looking outside, all right, like everybody else.
Did you make any friends on the boat?
I got sick.
Oh, was she sick? Well, that's not unusual.
Yeah, I got seasick. I was looking outside the, what do they call that,
You're looking over the
rail.
railing, I guess.
Yeah. And I was having a good time looking out at the girl that I had with me, met,
Uh-huh.
and on the boat, was there, and she was sick in bed. So I couldn't
cabin?
Yeah, a cabin.
So you made a friend there on the boat?
Little cabins, but they weren't bad, I guess. I've seen small and but
Yeah.
They're tiny.
yeah.
Just enough room for
But
one
you know,
person.
Jimmy, I had
The Ile-de-France or the Paris, this damn thing. Which one? Okay, you were telling us about the boat. The ship.
the ship. It's not a boat, I tell you.
It's an ocean liner.
Yeah. And I was so impressed with the stairway, the grand.
Elegant, huh?
Oh yeah. And across as wide as the house.
Oh, what's a
Oh, my.
cat?
Did you
To
see
me, I never seen anything that big.
a grand?
Oh, it was grand.
You were second class?
Yeah. And then we had lunch, you know, at the captain's table.
Oh my.
Pretty swanky.
Yeah, that was part of the ticket, you know. Anyway, I went and visited all the parts